Uh, Hi, I'm Liivo Niglas. I'm working at the Arctic Studies Center, which is part of Ethnology department of University of Tartu. And I'm social anthropologist by training, but I think that by vocation I'm a filmmaker. And I've tried to combine those two fields of study or expertise, and I'm doing what is called visual anthropology. So, and I want to talk you about my experience using a video camera in anthropological research in Arctic and subarctic regions. And actually, it's good to take over from Ladislava because you will actually you're going to see more reindeer and also reindeer moving and making sounds, because I want to present some short video clips. I have few, but probably I have to make a selection during this talk. Anyway, okay. So I started my ethnographic fieldwork activity already in early 90s. Actually, in 1990, I went to the Nenets people, who are the biggest indigenous group in the Russian Arctic, actually from Kola Peninsula all the way to Taimur Peninsula, and so I did my master thesis research on Yamal Peninsula, which is one of the how to put it? It's one of the few places on Earth where this kind of traditional nomadic reindeer herding is still going on quite strongly. It's thriving even now, although there are lots of challenges because of ever-spreading natural gas industry. I mean, if you think of all the gas which used to flow to Europe, that's mainly from Yamal Peninsula. And of course, there is a great impact from the climate change, and the reindeer herders are actually feeling it on their very kind of directly. But the community I worked with as ethnographic fieldwork, as an anthropologist, was so-called the Brigade number 7 of Yarsale Sovkos, or this kind of a state farm, and it's just a group of reindeer herders. It depends on the season, how many families are living there, how many tents are in the campsite. And they are true nomads. I mean, you can see the map here. That's the migrating routes of these Yarsale Sovkos. So there used to be, at least now there's a bit different, there used to be like around 20 different brigades, and they traveled all year round. So in winter, they usually stayed in a small territory in south of Ob Bay, and because there's a forest under there, it's the trees shelter the people and the reindeer from the harsh wind. There is a lot of lichen for reindeer to eat during the winter, and people are moving around with their herds, but not that often, maybe every 2 weeks or 1 week. But then when the spring starts, they have to move north, and actually some of the brigades go all the way to the Kara Sea, and this yearly migration route can be up to like 1,300 kilometers. And it's and why I decided to actually use video camera, not at the beginning, but after being there, after doing this kind of more traditional ethnographic fieldwork, I mean, observing what people are doing, participating in their everyday life, having conversation, fun with them, etc., etc., I felt that there is something I can't really grasp just by asking questions, and even more, I couldn't convey it to the audience or the academic audience, whatever, by just writing a text about it, like an academic article. So, and that, what I felt there was that there's something very visual or even like audiovisual about their way of life. And also they mentioned it all the time that, you know, thing like that I asked, like, you're young guys, you know, some of them had quite good education, even been to universities, all that, but they tended to return to the tundra after that. And I said, like, why don't you live in the village or in the bigger town? Yeah, but they mentioned, like, there is no air to breathe in village, although, you know, villages on Yamal is in the open tundra, so there's not that much pollution. And they say it's very suffocating to be in the village. And of course, main reason was there is no ranger. I mean, what kind of life there is when there is no ranger? That was the main point. And it's very emotional, things they say, but I felt that there is some kind of this sensorial side to it as well. And I thought that through audiovisual means, maybe it's better to study those things. At least I could show those important aspects of their life and why it's important for them to keep going as ranger herders to this kind of audiovisual media. So in 1999, I went back to the same brigade for 3 months. It was springtime. I was there from April till June. And it's the time when ranger has their calves. So it's calving period, and it's very important part of the year because that's how they make living. If there are many calves who survive, then there is more reindeer they can give to the slaughterhouse in the autumn, and so make living that way. But is there a sound, please? So this is just to show their main activity during this calving period when they have to take care of the herd and make sure that no calves are left behind, because without mothers they won't survive. And there are lots of casualties. And one thing, it's filmed during the night, so it's a polar day. It's around like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And as I told you, main thing what characterizes their way of life is actually this constant migration, constant moving, and that's also seems to be is very important for them. They say that's kind of like moving is always kind of a festivity, you know. It's even they get restless after being in one place for 1 or 2 days, and if there's no blizzard, they're like really eager to get going. So, but I just and of course for that you have to take down the camp. So yeah, actually I wanted to talk about another case study, but there is no time for that. So I'll show you just another clip, which maybe demonstrates quite well how close relationship people have, especially children, with some reindeer. Not all, because there are like several thousand reindeer in one herd. But every family has it depends on the family, but they have quite a few so-called pet reindeer. Those who have been raised by people because they've lost their mother. The calves have lost their mothers at a certain age, and then people are feeding them fish soup and bread, and so they are not afraid of people. So, and they also always usually come to the camp with the rest of the herd whenever the herd is driven to the campsite, in order that people could select kind of draft animals to pull their sleds. So this is. Okay, I should stop. That's another just 1,000 kilometers southwards. There is another group of nets, so-called forest nets, but I can't talk about them. So for that, you have to come back in maybe 40 years for another celebration of Polar Club. But anyway, what I just, what I want to say as a conclusion is that at least I find this kind of using video camera, and not only using it as a research tool to capture like field material and to study it later and analyze and all that, or to illustrate something, but it's you know, it's the end product of it. Also, it's very important that actually it's the way the film is the way of conveying those research findings also. So while you edit it, it's also kind of analyzing the material. So it's kind of similar to writing a monograph or an article that you concentrate, but you try to maintain important aspects what you want to tell to the audience. And of course, and what I like this way of doing research with people is that actually it's easier to give something back to the communities you work with, because everybody likes to be filmed. You know, we see what's going on in the social media. You know, the people like their images, and it's something they can relate very easily. If you write an article in English, academic article, very few, if not any of those reindeer herders could enjoy it, so to speak. But even if they don't like my way of doing film or editing or whatever, at least they have kind of souvenir, something, they see familiar faces, etc., etc. So it's I always feel that it's I feel less how to put it, because as anthropologist or science, you know, you always feel that you give too little back. You get all these things. You get your career, you get your salary, all that, but it's always you have this guilty feeling that I'm kind of using them, and this, you know, it's the guilty feeling is smaller, so to speak. But thank you anyway, and sorry for taking too long.